in closing, the only thing I really want to say about Sub-Zero is it was very difficult when the new revision came out because a lot of my matchup information was totally obsolete. Fighting characters like Cabal had drastically changed. Katana had drastically changed. There were a lot of matches that drastically changed by losing stuff like the reset, characters having better tools due to buffs, losing the dash nerf, that was a problem. And the thing is, rather than basically stick it out with Sub-Zero and try to basically work through the things that were now giving me problems in this new version of the game, I decided to say, I'm going to try Raiden out, I'm going to try all these other characters out. And that didn't work out too well either. I haven't actually made top 8 in the last like 2 or 3 tournaments. I've made 9, top 16, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how tough the competition field is. The thing is, obviously, me switching the character wasn't the answer. So when staying with Sub-Zero, after the last tournament, I said, I'm just going to stick it out with Sub-Zero, win or lose, and see what I can do with the character. And rather than crying about the problems, I'm going to go ahead and work through all the problems that I'm having. And what this really allowed me to do with Sub-Zero is really work through a lot of the matchups that I thought Sub-Zero lost. He actually went even with or won. The matches I thought he went even with, he actually won. Matches I thought were unwinnable now became winnable, but still disadvantaged. So in really sticking with the character, I really believe that I found things that make the character placed in the top 6 through 10. Now, there are still going to be matches like Katana, Kenshi, and Cabal that are always going to be difficult. Matches like Freddy, while winnable, are still going to be difficult, but not as difficult as, his top 3 hard matches. But in the end, you can find ways to make them winnable as well. I think overall, there are characters out there in this game that simply do not have the tools to even compete in their hard matches. And for those particular characters, you would need a team of characters. But there are characters like Sub-Zero, which is a lot of the new stuff that I found. I haven't covered anywhere near all of it, but a lot of the new stuff I found, which I'm going to be going over in future videos, really shows me that Sub-Zero is not one of those characters where you need multiple characters. I mean, yes, matches like Cabal are difficult, Kenshi's definitely difficult, but in the end, he does have tools to win those matches, even though they're difficult. Again, definitely an uphill battle and very difficult indeed, but it's not like you don't have any tools at all in those particular fights to the point that you say it is mandatory I pick somebody else. So, one last thing I'm going to show, and I don't know how much this has been covered, is going to be the proximity on the clone versus down 4, like low hitbox characters. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use Melina as the example here.
Sub-Zero. Melina.
These characters who like to use down 4s a lot on Sub-Zero, the clone is really good, especially in close proximity, because the clone does not have proximity on anything except for the torso. So what Sub-Zero can do with his clone in these particular matches is he basically uses the proximity of the clone against their low hitbox because of their 4. Look at, do down 4. See the down 4, the range in that down 4? All right, now on the count of 3, I want you to down 4 me the same time I clone. 1, 2, 3. Not fast enough. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Oops, I timed it wrong. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There's no proximity there. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to get same time here for you guys. 1, 2, 3. The clone still gets the form. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect. That was perfect. Do you notice how I was basically point blank with this character, and she goes to stick out a down 4, and my clone still forms? If she'd have done something else, probably like a down 1 or a down 3, would have hit me because her torso is too close to the limb, and I would have been blown up. Now go ahead and block this. After you block these 2 hits, do down 4. You can do things like 2-2 and then wait and then do a clone. This is something that's extremely important because this allows you, this is why strings like the 2-2 string are so good with Sub-Zero over stuff like the 2-1 string in the neutral game. Because the 2-1 string, you don't really have, opponents are not going to poke with like a down 4 after like 2-1 because, of the follow-up hits. When people see 2-2 and they see that pause, you know, because 2-2 is not 0 like 2-1 is, like a lot of times, go ahead and try to down 3 me here, or down 4 me. Block these 2 hits and down 4. She can't down 4 me there, you know. So a lot of times Sub-Zero has options for that particular, you take away your own setup. You see what I'm saying? Because they already know they can't poke you in certain situations there. Sub-Zero is a lot about making reads and baiting, and this is one of those situations where you can bait out those down 4s and blow these particular characters up. So when you're in close, you want to pay attention to the fact that when you're fighting these characters that, you know, do down 4 and stuff like that, you can really abuse your clone on them in close range. Also, the next thing I really want to talk about before we close here is using down 4 and then doing a clone. I don't see any reason to doing down 4 and having the down 4 hit and doing the ice clone here. When the down 4 hits versus a standing opponent, Sub-Zero has such advantage that not even a low hitbox character can duck his standing 2. So what you want to do is, if you're a Sub-Zero player, you want to take a second hit for down 4 and see what the hell is going on. When down 4 hits, stop for a second. What range did it hit at? Did it hit them standing? Did it hit them crouching? Same thing with down 3. Down 3, did it hit them standing or crouching? Down 3 and down 4 are opposite. When down 4 hits versus a crouching opponent, you have more advantage. And when down 4 hits versus a standing opponent, you have more advantage. So if you're fighting against a low hitbox character, most of the time they're going to be doing those down 3s, down 4s. So down 3 sometimes is a little better at closer range because when you hit them, it's going to hit them in a crouching state, which is going to give you that extra advantage. But you should never just autopilot your way. What I want you to realize is, go ahead and block and then jump. Block, low block and then jump. Jump forward. See, the thing is, even if he still can't jump it anyway. You don't need to block, you don't need to do that. Because no matter what, or like, you know, crouch, no blocks, crouch, no block, and then jump. He still can't jump it. I don't have to auto cancel it. You have plenty of time to see exactly what happened before you do anything. Try to stand up, and when I hit you with this, try to duck. Do it again. If you time this right, you have enough advantage that the low hitbox character can duck. I was a little slow there. Try it again. Stand up. Say that he can't duck it. Try it again. He can't duck it. You're trying to duck, correct?
Yeah.
He can't duck it. You have too much advantage there. He cannot duck it. And this is versus a low hitbox character. If you're fighting versus a mid or higher hitbox character, they have no chance at all because they can't duck the 2-2 anyway. So if you really pay, like, you gotta pay attention. Like if I hit them in character and crouching, crouch, and especially if it's a low hitbox character, a lot of times I might say, okay, I have a little advantage. Try to down for me. Whoops. You can clone. You can down 3 them. And then you hit him in a crouching state, so then you have extra advantage. And then you can kind of like, you know, no matter how they try to poke out, you have extra advantage there, a couple of pokes like that, and if you see it's still not going anywhere, then you can put the clone up and reset the situation. You just have to always understand that what I'm trying to say is you never want to rush through your progression there because you have time to see exactly what range, what distance the down 3s and down 4s and what state they hit the opponent in. If I hit a max range down 4 against a low hitbox character, the best bet is probably to clone, or, you know, because by the time I can dash in, they're going to be able to do something. The same thing with, you know, like regular characters, because I hit them from such a range, before I can come in, they can move, or, you know, something like that. So you really want to be able to confirm exactly what's going on. You never want to always just auto down 4 and clone because you're really missing out a lot of your situational options by just always going through the same thing. You're not really giving yourself a chance to confirm anything. So this concludes the Sub-Zero 101 series. There'll be more videos that I'm doing, you know, in the future. I just wanted to kind of help a lot of you guys out with a lot of questions that I've been receiving, as well as shed some light on some bad information such as Shoryuken's prison and so on and so forth. Later, guys.